Hi, I'm Big Papa Grump from the Board of Doom, and you might be wondering, what the hell is the Board of Doom? You know, how is that a wrestling thing, and why is the Board of Doom? Why is there a board? Well, the board is a reference to a dry erase board hanging in my hallway right outside my kitchen, where we put down wrestling picks. Started a long time ago. Friend of mine and the then girlfriend of Doom, now wife of Doom, we would get the wrestling pay-per-views starting right around I think we got them all starting toward the middle, towards the end of the Attitude Era. We consistently would get them. It started with WrestleMania one year, and we just kept going. And we would kind of look at each other and say, picks? You know, who you got? You know, so we would kind of pick matches right before they happened, just see who got it right. And then over time, we ended up inheriting this dry erase board, and I started jotting them down once, my son was old enough that he was participating in it. And anybody who we would invite over for WrestleMania, we would just put the picks down, and we would just see who kind of won the night. You know, it was just for fun to see who was right, who was wrong, you know, who was able to guess, you know, who listened to Dave Meltzer and who actually ended up getting a point. So that then evolved a little bit. I stopped watching wrestling as much. My son kept watching it. We're talking around the reinvention of the ECW era and the height of the early Cena domination, like when he was transitioning from Thugonomics to Superman. And I wasn't as interested in the product, so I watched sporadically. We would get the four big ones, you know, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Rumble, and of course WrestleMania. And the same friend who would come over all the time would always come over for WrestleMania. A couple years later, I started watching a little bit again. You know, just, okay, this is kind of interesting. I kind of liked the storylines that I saw going into WrestleMania, so I'm going to continue to watch it. Around that time, I met Golden Boy. Well, we work at the same place, so I was training him when he first started, and we ended up talking wrestling. And I kind of realized through watching how passionate he is about wrestling that I still kind of had that, and I had just started getting back into it again, and so we started up getting the pay-per-views again. He would pay for the pay-per-view, and I would pay for food, and we would just make, and the wife of Doom was there, and Junior was there, so we would watch the pay-per-view. Sometimes we'd invite other people over, friends of ours, and we started jotting down. I told him about the board, how we would keep that going just for the big ones. He's like, that's a really good idea. We should do that every month. So we did like a shortened season and decided that we were going to go from WrestleMania to WrestleMania with it. So just for posterity, Junior won season 1, which was the shortened season, and I won the last 2. We do a point system, which is, you get a win, you pick one correctly, you just get a point. It's no penalized for that. Certain matches like Battle Royals or the Royal Rumble, you get multiple picks, and we'll explain those as we actually do the boards, because we're going to start posting our board predictions from this point forward. So the name of the Board of Doom came from it was always just the board, but we didn't want to call the channel the board. So both the wife of Doom and Golden Boy separately suggested the Board of Doom. So I said, hey, 2 votes wins. So now where CJ Truth fits into all this is a few years ago. I had already known Golden Boy for a few years, and we've been hanging out doing, watching, the pay-per-views. He started working where we work, and we found out that he's a big wrestling fan. And so, again, we all bonded together through wrestling, and we've become this kind of tight little clique. Not a real clique, just kind of to ourselves. Like, whenever the 3 of us are near each other talking, everyone else at work avoids us if they don't want to hear about wrestling. They just know better. So, a few months ago, I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of stuff like What Culture and like Outside Xbox and a lot of Minecraft stuff. That's thanks to the wife of Doom. And these guys just seem to be having fun creating content for YouTube. And so after binging a ton of stuff, I was like, you know what? We could do a vlog style YouTube page where we talk about wrestling. It doesn't cost anything. really? You know, we could have some fun, and maybe we could build a following with it, or maybe not. Maybe just all of our subscribers are people we beg to subscribe. But we said, why not? Let's give it a year or so and see how it goes. So we decided, I brought the idea around Christmas time to Golden Boy and CJ Truth about starting a channel, because I'd already discussed it with Junior. And they said, okay, whatever. But they didn't really take me seriously. And so then I started researching on, ways to do YouTube videos. What does it take to create content? How do you build a following? So I started telling these guys what I wanted to do. And then they started getting on board. They started to take me seriously. Like, okay, he's obviously serious about this. So I launched the channel. It's like, there's no turning back, guys. I'm launching the channel. We all picked what we wanted to do. I'm doing Raw. Golden Boy's doing SmackDown and 205. You got Junior doing NXT and the UK stuff. He and I might alternate that, because I just dig on British accents. And Truth is doing, indie stuff. ROH 2, probably Impact. He'll be covering pretty much the rest of it. So mostly he's going to focus on indies, because quite frankly, when it comes to stuff like New Japan and Ring of Honor, stuff comes out sooner and doesn't, more New Japan. You find out New Japan and Lucha Underground, you get spoilers really quick. And Impact is always kind of sporadic on whether or not they even can tape a show. So he's going to talk about those things, but it's going to be focusing mostly on the indies. So that's basically how we got to where we are now. In the future, I'd like to do videos where, I'll tell you a little bit more about me and how I got into wrestling, and who my friends are that, kept me into wrestling. I'm sure Truth and Golden Boy and Junior will want to tell their stories as well. But I kind of want to save those for, like, subscriber milestones. That's basically the story behind the Board of Doom. The name makes absolutely no sense. The Board of Doom has no relevance to anything except us. And out of context, it makes no sense. In context, it makes no sense. We're just a bunch of idiots talking wrestling. But the Board of Doom means something to us, because we kind of revolve our entire wrestling watching around getting who's going to win the board. So just to let you know, I only won this year by 1 point over CJ and 3 points over Junior. So, and the only reason that Golden Boy didn't get closer was because during WrestleMania he just picked the opposite of what Truth said, just for fun. Of course, he was also at WrestleMania, so I guess the last laugh is on us. That also explains why there's no SmackDown recap this week, or 205, because he was still in Orlando. So there's a, believe it or not, abbreviated version of how we got to where we are now with you watching this video. So I've been BigPapaGrump from the Board of Doom. Give us a like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.